Hey everybody, it's Bay Ray. My name's Barry, but my friends call me Bay Ray. That means you get to call me Bay Ray too. I am here to talk to you today about something that I have been waiting for quite a while and I wanted to share it with you. Disney/Marvel has announced the cast for the Fantastic Four film. Now, I've been waiting for this for a while. I'm disappointed in a couple of the castings, well, at least one, but it's not because who's playing it. I'm just in general. You'll see what I mean. So this is the logo. So obviously it's been rumored around for quite a while that the Fantastic Four is going to be based in the 60s. Look at this logo. The logo clearly has a 60s feel to it. This was also the cast photo they announced drawing that they had on Valentine's Day when they announced the cast. I am very excited to talk to you about it, so let's get into this. Okay, let's start with the leader of the team, Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic. Names have been floating around all over the place from Dev Patel and Adam Driver, but they finally settled on the internet daddy, Pedro Pascal. Loved him in so many different things. My one problem is with the casting of Pedro Pascal is that he is just about to turn 50. If Marvel wanted some longevity in these characters to last a long time, Pedro Pascal is already going to be 50 years old. If he's almost 50 or he already is 50. I don't have any problems with Pedro Pascal. I just say if they wanted to let the franchise go longer, they might have cast somebody younger. But great choice, great actor. Okay, now the Invisible Woman, Vanessa Kirby. Now, I honestly could say I know nothing about her. I knew she was in The Crown. She might do great as the Invisible Woman, Sue Storm, but I'm sure if she could pull off being a cast member of The Crown, she could pull off anything. Okay, let's talk about the Human Torch, Johnny Storm. Now, there's a lot to live up to because I loved Chris Evans' portrayal in the original Fantastic Four films. He might be Captain America now, and I loved him as Captain America. Now, Joseph Quinn from Stranger Things is now going to be the Human Torch. There's Joseph Quinn. No, that's Brian Pulido, creator of Evil Ernie and Lady Death. This is Joseph Quinn. Well, Stranger Things. But this is Joseph Quinn now. I am looking forward to seeing his portrayal. I love his portrayal of Eddie in Stranger Things. I know he's going to bring some really good things to the film. Let's talk about The Thing. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. I kind of like him. He is my favorite superhero. He's my favorite hero. I cannot talk more in favor of Benjamin J. Grimm than anybody else. He is my favorite hero, and I am ecstatic to see that Evan Moss-Bachrach is going to be playing him. Now, I really had no clue who Evan was until somebody said you need to watch the show The Bear. And I started watching a couple of episodes, and I'm like, oh my, this man is Ben Grimm. It is going to be awesome that he's playing him. Now, you might have heard the name Bacharach before. Me, a Gen Xer, or any boomers know the name Burt Bacharach, songwriter for Dionne Warwick. The cool thing is, there's absolutely no connection. It's just a giant coincidence. It's just that's his name. Anyway, but I really am excited to see his portrayal. Now, I love Michael Chiklis's portrayal of Ben in the original Fantastic Four films. Now, there is a side story to Michael Chiklis. He also is a fan of the character and the Fantastic Four. And before the movie even was cast of the original film with the original group, he met Stan Lee and walked up to him and introduced himself. Hi, I'm Ben Grimm. And that was his in. He actually was recommended by Stan Lee to be Ben Grimm as the film. So I'm extremely excited to see Evan to play Ben Grimm. Now, I don't know if they're going to go like they did with Michael and do prosthetics, or they're going to do a complete CG like Groot in the film. Now that I'm done talking about the cast, I want to talk to you about my favorite character, The Thing. And give you a tour of some of the stuff. I had a couple people mention that they are looking forward to seeing my collection, and they really want to see it. So first, let's talk about the history of the Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four #1 came out in 1961, November 1961, created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, a couple of Jewish guys from New York. Stan the Man and Jack the King. There's reasons why they call him that. They created the Marvel Universe. Now, when Ben was originally drawn in Fantastic Four, he looked like this. He looked like a lump. He looked like a big lump of rocks. And it wasn't even rocks. He kind of looked muddy. But that was the original look as compared to his later looks. Now, his abilities are not just strength and stamina. It's also his history with street fighting, so that's why he's such a great fighter. And just revealed, he's immortal. He's not going to die, which is also awesome in that sense as well. His battle cry, is it say here? Yeah, right here. It's clobbering time. Has been all over the place. Now, when it was really created by Stan and Jack, they imagined him having this thick Brooklyn accent, saying it's clobbering time. And now the character, it's also been revealed that his tone and his dialect came from actor Jimmy Durante with the schnoz right here. They based his voice on Jimmy Durante. Now, Ben's personal story starts on the Lower East Side of Manhattan on Yancey Street. Now, Yancey Street is a direct reference to Jack Kirby's home neighborhood of Delancey Street, which is very well known as well. Now, Ben grew up with his family. Now, his brother died in a gang fight. He was the leader of the Yancey Street gang. Ben witnessed this at 8 years old, which also made him join the Yancey Street gang as well, to be a member and learned how to street fight. And that's why he's such a great fighter. Now, Ben in high school didn't always have the greatest grades because he didn't care. He joined the football team upon a recommendation from his coach and ended up getting a scholarship, a full scholarship to Empire State College, which really doesn't exist, but sounds like, because New York, the Empire State. So he got a full scholarship to Empire State to play football. That's where he met Reed Richards and Victor Von Doom. Yeah, they were really good friends. So that's where it all started. That's the culmination of the meeting and getting together, and that's where this all started. Okay, I'm going to make a leap here to the future, and actually the present. Now, Ben came upon a large lump of money, so now he gave a big chunk to his Aunt Petunia, who helped raise him, and he opened up the Grimm Youth Center on Yancey Street. Now, the Yancey Street gang doesn't have any respect to Ben because they felt he was a sellout and he didn't stay with the Yancey Street way of living. So they were planning on graffitiing the entire building after it had been built. So when they would have the ribbon cutting, they would have graffiti all over the place. But that was canceled by the Yancey Street gang themselves because they thought they were going to do this because he has such an inflated ego, he named it after himself. No, he didn't. He named it after his brother Daniel. Daniel is the member of the Yancey Street gang, the leader of the Yancey Street gang, and then he named it after his brother that was killed. And then the gang said, you know what? He's respecting his the past. So yes, let's not do this. So that was actually pretty cool that he named it after his brother Daniel. So let's talk about publishing. Now, of course, Ben has been a mainstay member of the Fantastic Four since 1961. He left a couple times, but always came back to his family. That's what also, to me, also was so great about the Fantastic Four, is that it's all about family. Anyway, so he's always been a member of the Fantastic Four, but he has left on several times. Now, first time he left, he turned human back in I think it was the 70s. He reverted back to human after drinking this potion, and he was replaced by Luke Cage for a little while, but he reverted back to his human form. Now, during the Marvel Secret War with the Beyonder and good versus evil and everything there, the introduction of the black symbiote suit, a whole bunch of other stuff. When it was over, Ben volunteered to stay behind so everybody can move and go back home. And he stayed in space on Battle World, which was created by the Beyonder. Now, he would be able to switch back and forth to Ben Grimm to the Beyonder on the Battle World. But he left and eventually came back to Earth. Now, after he stayed, She-Hulk became a member of the Fantastic Four, and she stayed there and has been friends with the Fantastic Four for many, many years. Now, when the Fantastic Four first started in 61, it was an immediate hit. Now, they started putting Human Torch, Johnny, in Strange Tales, doing some solo stuff. And they said, okay, let's throw Ben in there because Ben was at the time as popular as the Human Torch. So he started doing some solo stuff in Strange Tales also in the 60s as well. After Strange Tales, in Marvel Feature, they did a 2-part issue. It's sort of like a blueprint, a sort of a starting point to test the waters to see how popular it is with the Thing and other characters. So they did 2 issues of that. I think it was 13 and 14 or 12 and 13. I forget exactly off the top of my head, So, but they did 2 issues, and that was the blueprint for Marvel 2-in-1. Marvel 2-in-1 was Ben in every single issue, which ran for 100 issues, and then 7 annuals. Now, I mentioned on this one, on an earlier episode, how annual number 7 is one of my favorite books, and I read it all the time. In fact, last night I read it as well again. It's like watching an episode of your favorite show, just going back and watching it again. So 7 annuals, and then after the cancellation of that, Secret Wars happened, and then turned into the Thing ongoing series that ran for over 30 issues. John Byrne was in it, Ron Wilson. So there's also been several miniseries, 4-issue shots. Now, the cool thing about Ben, after he graduated from college, he didn't initially right away go and do the space thing with Reed and Sue and Johnny. He actually joined the Marines. So he joined the Marines, and he actually had a 4-issue miniseries of Ben Grimm and Logan before Logan was Wolverine, apparently. Okay, let me tell you why I like the Thing so much. And the thing is there's a lot of connection to the Thing to everybody else. So, like, perfect example, for me, myself, I see myself as the Thing because he is judged by his exterior. They look at him. They see this thing. This thing is not quite human. It's not normal. So they judge him by the way he looks. They don't see what's inside. They don't see a guy who got a full football scholarship to college. They do not look at a Marine veteran. They do not look at an astronaut. They do not know that he knows quantum physics and he's an extremely smart man. They do not know his compassion for the human beings. They don't know anything. They just look at the outside. They judge him on the way he looks, not who he is. So I think if the world just looked at people a little bit more like that, just looked at what's inside instead of outside and judging, I think this world would be a lot happier. That aside. But the way I connect to him is, one, yes, people judge me by the way I look. And I'm a Jewish kid from New York. I saw the connection there, and right away I'm like, okay, that's me. I see me in him. Same way that kids connected to Spider-Man for so many years, because here's this dorky teenager who's awkward, who can't talk to girls, and they saw themselves. I saw myself in the Thing. That is what connected me to him. And now I have been collecting Thing stuff. Now I already had the comic series, and then I just start, oh, here's an action figure. Oh, here's a toy. Next thing I know, I've got a pretty decent sized collection of things. And I'm going to show you now what I have in my collection and talk about some of the stuff that I got and the history of where I got it and stuff like that. Okay, let's talk about my first shelf in my wall. Yes, I've got more than one shelf. Starting over here, I don't want to step on anything on the floor. It's a mess in here. You don't see it. Okay, we have our Funko Pop. We have the most recent Marvel Legends. I have an unpunched one, so I have that there. I've got the large Marvel Universe one out of the box and one in the box with the trench coat. The Marvel Select thing, which is huge. I just wished his head was a little bit bigger. And then the Masterworks with him versus the Hulk. This was from a motorcycle one. I still have that one over there. Here's a Happy Meal toy right here. And let me move this to the side. And this was from Happy Meal. Yay. And I got this off of Etsy. They're just a couple of guitar picks that were turned into earrings. And I don't wear earrings. Of course, you got the new Marvel Legends, the regular one, and the Walgreens variant. And then the original Marvel Legends, the Fantastic Four team up with the Iron Man from the Marvel Action Hour with War Machine, the Secret Wars combo pack, Airplane, Battle Dice. Now we're going to go back this way. We've got the Scotty Young statue, several mini-mates created by a guy that I interviewed many years ago named Digger Mesh. He has his own line of toys. He did a lot of cool stuff, and he created these. And I'll talk to you about him on a future episode when I get some more stuff. Believe it or not, this is a bath toy where you can squirt them with water. They separate, all four separate, and you got that. We have the dice tosser, and I have one of those. I'll show you that. The mask. Now, this is a special thing. In 2022, I got COVID and I was hospitalized. And I ended up being on the ventilator for 5 weeks. I almost died. And when I came out, I was really messed up in the head. And there was a therapist slash I guess kind of a minister, but he really was not, I don't know. His name was Brian, and he was a really cool guy, and he knew I liked the thing, and he brought that in for me, and I had it on my shelf in the hospital and my physical therapy place to learn how to walk again, because I was unconscious for 5 weeks and forgot how to walk. So he stays in my collection. I got a game, a mug. We have the Twist 'em Up where it is a manga themed. This is another Happy Meal toy. I have several of these, which is another Happy Meal toy. Now that's the battle dice I was telling you about, that I think I'm going to make myself a D20 so he could throw the D20. Now, of course, we have the classic Fantastic Four from the Marvel Action Hour, Incognito. This is the more recent reincarnation that they just recently came out with, and I was lucky to find one on the shelf. Now here's the Fantastic Four from the movie Thing Bump and Go Cycle, which he's driving a motorcycle, which is the same thing right here. So then we got the posable die cast, a car, and the original Fantastic Four Thing figure Cosmic Defender superheroes. Now we pan back out to the top shelf. We got a couple of Thing hands right up there. We've got a model kit and the Mighty Mugs figure. Now the Thing hands do, when you smash them together, says it's clobbering time, but the batteries are messed up and it doesn't do it as much. So I got a classic 7-Eleven cup. Now this thing was a mystery thing that you were able to get in Japan only, and he's one of the first things I got when I started doing my collection. It was a mystery box that came wrapped up, and you got different characters in each one. We have a, I just saw it. It's another Japanese thing. He's got Mickey Mouse ears. Now that thing is from a Taco Bell toy. Now this I found on Etsy as well. I call him my thingy, and he's like one of the first things that I started my collection. He's a crochet little thing. He's adorable. He's my little thingy, and I just keep him there. So then I've got from the chess set, I've got that. Now this, I'm going to move him a little this way. This is an unopened package of Fantastic Four buttons from the film and a CD music sampler from the movie as well. Now, I've got my Funkos right here. Now, and then you got the Mega Block Thing head. Now, I bought this on Macari, which is the first Thing Funko Pop they made. And after I got it, I realized it's a knockoff. And the way you can figure it's a knockoff is if you look real closely, there's no background on the blue. It's just a solid blue. Now, on the originals, there was more of a comic kind of background. It was blue still, but it wasn't. It is clearly a knockoff. Luckily, I got a refund and they told me I could keep it. So I just keep it till I could get a new one. So I'm going to put him back on the shelf till I get a real one. Now, okay, I've got a postcard when they made the Marvel stamps. I got that postcard in a 1960s book of the Fantastic Four. Now, this is a trading card which has a piece of fabric from Michael Chiklis' costume in the Fantastic Four movie for screen use. That is the Marvel, original Marvel trading card set #1. This was just a cool looking card. I liked it. The classic 1970s trading stickers. And I got, these ones are from the, what do you call it again? The Challenge of the Superhero, Marvel Challenge video game, and they give you a card. Now, I put Spider-Man here because he is literally just holding the spot. I'm having friends of mine at Faraday Toys here in Greenwood, Indiana, repair my Thing, Mego toy because his arm was broken. So they're fixing him for me. Now, that's a cake topper for a birthday cake. My daughter got this for me, Thing for President, Thing Bunny, little Thing bobblehead, Legos, I don't remember where he's from, and just a couple of random little things. And then we've got the Hero Clicks toys as well. And then we move, oh, I almost forgot. This is a brass Thing keychain given to me by a friend of mine, Andrew Planty. He found it and he mailed it to me because he knew how much I loved the character. And here's a sticker. Now, I'm going to go to this wall and show you some of my comics that I have on display. Now, I had #1 Thing signed by Ron Wilson and a friend of mine, Tim, who drew that cover for me as well. And we pan back down. Man Thing, first issue of Marvel 2-in-1. And then the Thing and the Hulk have fought so many times. So I figured, what's the one thing they haven't done? They thumb wrestled. And I saw that, and I thought of that. And I'm like, I had my friend Tim draw that for me. He added the Watcher as the judge. I thought that was awesome. And I also had Ron sign that for me as well. Now, here's the annual #7. I was telling you about one of my favorite comics to reread numerous times a year, which I also got signed by Ron Wilson. And there's nothing special about this Marvel Fanfare #15. It's just, I love the cover. It's signed to Johnny from your best pal, Benjamin. I just love that one. So I'm going to pan down to here to one of my that's one of my favorite covers of when Ben turned back into the Thing. Now here's Marvel Annual 2-in-1 #2. I have it signed by Jim Stalin and I think it's Joe Rubenstein. I had him double sign these, so I have that. Now this one I'm going to go back up to the classic Fantastic Four versus Galactus cover. That is just an amazing cover. I just love it. Now I'm going to come down here. Now the only two things that I have on this wall that are not Fantastic Four or Thing related is this cover, custom cover of Wonder Woman New 52, #36, was drawn and signed by George Perez, one of the nicest comic book artists, one of the nicest comic book artists I've ever met in my entire life. I met him, his daughter, and it was just a good time to meet him. It's a shame, and we miss him very, very much. He was a mainstay in the comic book world. I also have Deathlock, Astonishing Tales number 25, first appearance of Deathlock. It is also signed by George Perez. He did it in black, so it's very hard to see right there. But not only is this the first appearance of Deathlock, it is also George's first work in the comic industry. That is his first published work. So when I brought it to him, he goes, "Oh, you're bringing me old school." So he was really cool about that. So I loved meeting him. Several occasions I've met him. So this is my all my things, and then some. It's still growing, but I got shelf space, so I'm going to just keep growing. Now, the only things I didn't show you is my comic collection, because I have it over directly to my left, and that side of the room, you can't see it, but it is a complete mess. I will be cleaning it up soon. But I have one full box of Marvel 2-in-1, which is the original run, which I have that. I also have the new run of Marvel 2-in-1. There are just a couple issues that I'm missing out of that series, and they were variant and 1/500 variants. They're very expensive and hard to find, so I don't have those, which is, I believe, is a John Byrne and an Alex Ross. I've got all the other miniseries, everything, and then I have a box just of cameos and appearances and cover appearances on the books. I also have my 2 short boxes of Fantastic Fours, which I'm growing. I've had a lot more, but due to financial things, I had to get rid of a lot. But now I'm rebuilding my collection of that. I also have those over there, as well as a couple of trade paperbacks and omnibuses of the Thing and the Fantastic Four and Marvel 2-in-1s. And I got those over there as well. So it's just one of these days I'll get to that side of the room as well. I want to thank everybody for watching. And remember, go out and find comic books wherever you can, whether it be at flea markets or Goodwill. You never know what you could find at the Goodwill. Just go out and find them. But the best place to find comics is your local comic book store. They will help you no matter what you need. If you go in there and not know what you want, ask for a recommendation and they will recommend something for you. So just check them out. Find your local comic book store. But with that, I want to thank everybody for watching. And remember, reading comic books is still reading.